We're going to do my favorite base routine lately. First up, slather your face with a gripping primer, and I mean cover everything. That needs to sit for 1 to 2 minutes, so while it's sitting there, I'm going to cover some little breakouts or red spots or any freckles that I want to cover, and just let the concealer kind of sit there for a minute. Then I just tap it in. It doesn't have to be perfect coverage. This is the foundation that's been doing it for me lately. I'm going to take a little bit and pump it onto the back of my hand. Apply it however you want, but I take the base of a makeup brush and I like to just dot it around so that it's applied evenly all over my face. I know I look ridiculous, but it is an even distribution. Then I start that tapping motion like I did with the concealer, but all over the face with these little dots. And I will drag down the neck. I completely avoid the nose for a reason. My face does not like to hold on to product there. So instead of putting a bunch on there, I take residual and I go over the nose when I'm done blending out the rest of my face for the lightest coverage, but that helps it last. This is a showstopper. This is my favorite concealer right now, the NYX Bear With Me. So this is going underneath my eyes and around my nose. Normally, I don't apply any makeup with my fingers because I just don't like the feeling of it, but this warmed up does a little something extra in my opinion. So I have been breaking my own rules and doing this lately. So just gently pressing it into the under eye area and then into the crease of the nose. Same pressing method for the concealer underneath the eye. I mean, this is just elite. I have some residual concealer, so I just take it and press it wherever I feel like maybe I want to add a little bit of coverage just so I don't waste the concealer. Sometimes I add this, sometimes I don't. I like the amount of glow I have, so I don't think I'm going to add this today. One of my favorite stick contours ever is the MOIRA Beauty foundation stick in the shade 14. So that is what I applied. I'm going to do the nose first so that there's not a lot of contour product on my brush. And then we'll move on to the cheekbones, and I just do the same tapping motion, but I try to do this one in like an upward motion and do the same thing on the other side. This step is where I would add another cream bronzer that's a little bit darker and beachier if I wanted a really sun-kissed look, but today I'm just going to keep it as my day-to-day type of look. So I'm going in with a liquid blush. This is Happy from MOIRA Beauty, and I love blush, so I do tend to go a little hard with my blush application. I feel like she deserves a shout out at this point. This is the BK Beauty 106 brush, and you can literally use it for almost everything in the makeup routine. So I just do those 2 dots and go along the diagonal, and sometimes I will go over my nose, and I feel like you can never use too much blush. I love blush. By now there's this slight beautiful concoction going on inside this brush, so I take it and in my mind this evens out the whole face. If I do some on the forehead and some on the chin of like all the bronzer and concealer and blush that's mixed together for this cohesive face. This is where you need a different brush, and this is like the final step of the base routine unless you want to go in with powder products, but this is setting powder, and I get a lot of questions on how I set my under eyes. I have dry skin, so I take the tiniest amount of setting powder. This is the Cherry Blossom from Huda Beauty. I diffuse it in the cap and tap off, and all I do is lay it underneath the eye, barely pressing. And then I do press into that nose crease because my nose doesn't want to hold on to anything. And then whatever's left on this, I just gently hit all of the areas of like my T-zone, because that's where I will get a little shiny throughout the day. So these are the bare bones of my base routine. Like I said, if you want to go over with powder, there's more steps that I would take before going in with powder. You would need to lay something down on the cheek before you go in with powder products, in my opinion. But this is like my end-all be-all favorite base routine right now, and I am getting a lot of questions about it. So the only further step I would take is setting spray. And I douse myself in setting spray.